Do you like the Summerlin area and you're ready to purchase a home? Well, this video is going to talk about everything that you need to know about how to secure a home loan in Summerlin. But if you haven't decided on where you want to live in Las Vegas yet, click on one of these links here or somewhere around this video to learn more about the Henderson area and other parts of Las Vegas, and you can decide for yourself what part of town you want to live in. But if you've already decided that Summerlin is the place that you want to call home, let's hop into the list and let's find out what it takes to get qualified to purchase a home. The first step in the buying process to get qualified is you have to get pre-approved. I cannot stress how important this process is in the entire home buying journey. The market here in Las Vegas and across the country for that matter is very, very competitive. I've had agents that we work with that have represented some of our clients that have been writing offers multiple times for these clients. I've had one specific agent that actually wrote over 10 offers that they were even asking $10,000 above the sales price just to try to get an offer accepted. And actually none of those offers ended up working. I think they ended up actually writing about 15 different offers to finally get something accepted. So if you're relocating here to Las Vegas and you think that you might go out once and actually get your offer accepted, that may not happen. So you have to prepare yourself mentally for the challenges that could lie ahead if you don't have an experienced real estate agent or your lender is not familiar with the market and doesn't have a great reputation. So working with someone that's local is probably one of the other tips that you could look at working with versus an out-of-state lender or somebody who just doesn't have a great reputation in town. When you get pre-approved, the lender will take a look at your credit. They'll need to verify your income, your assets, and the debt that's on your credit report in order to figure out what you can qualify for. Now you might think, Sean, why do I need to do all of this? I see all these commercials online with other mortgage companies that can give me an approval in a matter of minutes. And yes, that may be the case. However, they're not reviewing everything in your file. So there could be items that they're going to miss that's on your tax returns that you might not be aware of. So that's why getting with a lender who understands how to pre-approve you, understands the market conditions, is going to be, like I said, the most important thing you can do. Because if you don't have the pre-approval letter, there are a lot of agents in town that won't even take you out and show your property. And you might think, well, I've got good credit, I can qualify, I should be able to buy a house. That's not always the case. Again, it's the whole supply and demand thing right now. Very little supply, lots of demand. And if you're not putting yourself in a position to be completely ready to purchase, your agent, your lender, they're gonna move on to the next person because there's 10 people behind you that are willing to provide documentation. I've even seen sellers that will not even let an agent show a house without a pre-approval letter from a bona fide lender. So again, a lot of this might seem like you have to jump through hoops to get into a house, to look at a property. And the fact of the matter is that is the case right now because that's the market that we're in. And that's the game that you have to play if you're thinking about purchasing a home. So get pre-approved, don't hesitate. If you're serious about buying, that's the one thing you got to do first before you can start thinking about everything else. That's probably going to be most of you trying to find your documents. That's the second part of the approval process, getting all your paperwork in order. Because once you talk to the lender, they pull your credit's good enough to keep moving forward. The second part of the process is they're going to ask you for all your paperwork. Most commonly, they're going to ask you for 1 month of pay stubs, 2 years of tax returns, 2 years of W-2 forms, 2 months of bank statements. Make sure you have at least the bare minimum of those documents ready to send to your lender. Because again, time is of the essence. If you find a house that you love and you want to make an offer, if you can't find your documents, like I was just trying to find a bunch of paperwork, By the time you find everything, you get it to your lender, they review it, that house could easily be sold. So make sure you have those documents at a bare minimum to send to your lender so they can review your entire file, get you pre-approved, start to crunch some numbers, and give you an idea of what you can qualify for, what those payments will look like, and all your closing costs and etc. Now, why this is so important is because through COVID, some of the guidelines have changed, especially if you're self-employed, right? We might still ask for tax returns. We might even ask you for a profit and loss statement. So again, having all these documents can make or break your file. I just had a client who was self-employed, made a ton of money, but on his P&L, it showed that he was making less money through this year because of COVID, and now trying to get approved is becoming a little more difficult because he didn't have all these documents together up front. So again, if you don't want to be working backwards, we have to be as proactive as possible, especially when you're buying a house, because the seller wants to know you can close, your buyer's agent wants to know you can close, and I'm sure most of all, you yourself want to know that if the lender tells you you can shop and you can qualify, that loan will close at the end of the day. Daydreaming time is over. Now you're qualified. Your lender has pulled your credit, they've looked at your income, they looked at all the paperwork that you have, and you can now shop for your home with 100% certainty that your loan can close. Now, a thing that I forgot to mention is when you're shopping around for your lender, not only do you want a local lender who's reputable, has a great reputation, and can close on time, but you might want to ask them up front, how long does it take you to do my pre-approval? Some lenders might take a day or two, some might take a couple of weeks. All these factors play an important part in the buying process because again, time is of the essence, right? You love your house, you want to make an offer. Would you want to deal with the lender and wait a week to get a pre-approval done? Probably not. So check with your lender up front, how long are they taking with their pre-approvals? Don't get so caught up on what's your interest rate, I want to work with the guy with the lowest rate, because more often than not, the guy with the lowest rate might have the worst service, or their pre-approval might take an extra week versus the guy who has a competitive rate, but they might be able to do the pre-approval that same day. So building their relationship, asking the right questions up front, again, it's super important in this process if you want to be successful when shopping for your home.
Oh shoot, Sean, that's a sick whip, bro.
Dude.
Oh, nice, man. Wait, aren't you supposed to be buying a house?
I am buying a house.
Oh.
Do not be that guy. You're in contract to purchase a home and you have an accepted offer from a seller. Do not go buy a new car. Don't go quit your job. Don't go to Best Buy and finance a 75-inch TV or go to a furniture store and get a whole new set of furniture. That's one of the biggest mistakes you can do when you're in contract to purchase a house, is have someone pull your credit or go and purchase and finance something. It doesn't matter if they tell you there's no payments for 18 months, it's 0%, it doesn't matter. The lender will have to calculate a payment in order to qualify you. So if you're gonna go purchase a car or go finance anything or do anything with your credit, make sure to call your lender and have that conversation with them first before you go out and do that. Oh, and last but not least, don't quit your job either. I had a client when I first started in this business, we had his loan approved and then he quit his job. He thought because his loan was approved, he could quit his job. Don't do that. How else can we calculate your income in order to qualify you for the loan? So if it comes to anything with your finances, your income, the money in your checking or savings account, your credit, do not touch that. Talk to your lender first before you go out and do anything, or else you could seriously jeopardize your loan, which I'm sure that's the last thing you want to happen at this point. Whew, man, that was close. That guy almost lost his house. Oh, hey, you're back again. Well, guess what? Your loan's approved now, and since you're watching this video, I know you didn't quit your job, and I know that you're not moving money around in your accounts, and you've been listening to your loan officer, who might be me, about getting your loan done. So now we've crossed all the T's, we've dotted all the I's, we're getting ready to prepare your loan docs for your final closing. So now at this point, everything that we've requested from you, our underwriters are doing their last and final checks on the file, making sure they didn't miss anything, making sure that the way you want to hold title, whether it could be in a trust or some other form, we want to make sure everything's going to be prepared for the final loan docs for you to go ahead and sign and make that house your new home. So this process usually takes a few days. Again, you want to check with your lender up front, right? I know a lot of times when we try to find out who's a good lender, the one question that's always asked is, what's your interest rate and what's your fees? Nobody asks, how long does it take to close on a house? There are some lenders out there that I've heard of that are taking 45 or even 60 days to close a transaction, right? And if you're writing for a 45 or 60 day escrow on your contract, the seller might not take that because they probably want to close in 30 days or less. So depending on what part of the country you're coming from, you might be used to different timelines, but here in Las Vegas, we want 30 days or less. So again, check with your lender up front. Don't get caught up so much on the interest rate, what their fees are. Every lender is going to be competitive. Every lender is going to be right in line with fees. No one's going to be super high. You might get some guys that are super low, but you're going to sacrifice service. You're going to sacrifice communication. You're going to sacrifice something because the interest rate is so low. So ask that question. How long is it taking you to close deals? Here at Loan Depot, we close in 30 days or less. We have some instances where we can get maybe 3 weeks or less, but on average, it's about 30 days. This whole closing time frame is such a key process because if you're thinking of maybe selling another home to move into this home, or you're relocating from another part of town to then purchase this home here in Las Vegas, all of that is super important because the communication is going to be the utmost important thing other than getting pre-approved, because you have to communicate with your lender to know, when is your loan docs going to go out to title? When will I be able to sign? How quickly can you folks record? Right? Those are all things that most buyers never ask questions up front. They just assume that everything kind of happens the way it's going to happen. But if you have movers planned for a Friday and your closing could be delayed, now you have to coordinate with the movers and everybody else just to get into the house. So again, communication is super important in the buying process between your agent, your lender. We're a team at the end of the day. You want to make sure you have the right team. And sometimes having the right team does cost a little bit of money, right? In order to get some quality for almost anything in life, you do have to pay some kind of money for it. But if you want the discount realtor, you want the discount lender, you might sacrifice something. So don't always be so focused on the interest rate. See who you gel with the best. See who's got online reviews. What do other customers say about that lender, about that real estate agent? Look into those things first before you decide on who you might want to do business with. We did it. You signed your loan docs, we funded a loan, and it has recorded with the county. The house is yours. You can get your keys from your realtor. You did it. All the things that we talked about today are the important steps in what it's going to take for you to become a homeowner and purchase a home here in Las Vegas. From getting pre-approved, finding the right lender, getting your paperwork together, shopping for your home, making a strong offer, communicating with your real estate agent, communicating with your lender, making sure you have the right team. All these topics that we just covered throughout this entire video will help you become a successful home buyer in this ultra competitive market here in Las Vegas. And don't forget, if you enjoyed this video, if this was helpful, share this with a friend, share this with some family members, co-workers who are thinking of buying or even refinancing, because all these tips that I'm sharing with you not only apply to a purchase, but also the refinance. And again, drop some comments below. Let us know what you think. Ask us questions. What are you struggling with your home purchase? Maybe your lender's not telling you some of these things that I just talked about. I'd love to help you become a homeowner here in Las Vegas. And as always, subscribe to the YouTube channel so every time we drop a new video, you get notified, and we'll catch you on the next one.